Thank you very much for your coming and joining on this webinar. I would like to apologize for the technical difficulties, but that's the whole point of technical difficulties. They always arrive at the most inopportune moment. Like when you're trying to watch a football game and at the most important play of the game, the cable goes. So I liken it to that. So what we're going to be doing today is talk about introductions as to who we are, who am I, and what do I do, the careers in the animation industry related to the Toon Boom products using productions using Toon Boom, and expectations from the studios. Now, as all of you work for the high schools, we're going to keep this basically US centric. This is a great industry to be in. It's fun. Many of the kids really want to know how they can get into it and get part. You'll see some videos as to what is going on with many of the shows with some explanations behind it. And I hope you'll have a lot of questions because I love giving answers. In the end, on one of the last slides, you're going to see how you can get our products, how we can help you, how we can connect you, and yeah. So let's start off with who am I? Hi, this is me, or a reasonable facsimile. My name is Bernard. I've been with Toon Boom for 8 years. What's great about it is this is my first. I was, previous to coming to Toon Boom, I was working in the pet industry. And before that, I was working in the movie industry. I was taking care of a lot of famous movie stars and sports people, and I had the opportunity to meet a lot of international politicians. This is a great place to be. I love animation. I've been watching cartoons back in the day growing up in the San Francisco Bay Area. It is wonderful to see how they do the magic, and being part of a company that has worked on many productions with some of the biggest studios in the world, and I can sit down on a Sunday night or any night of the week and watch shows that I have either somehow directed, sold to, or know the creative teams behind. Here at Toon Boom, I work with a lot of great people, many of them who are connected to the industry, and they really want the high school kids to do really well because they get a lot of excitement introducing schools to the studios. And we'll get to that a little later on. So who is Toon Boom? Great question. So Toon Boom is one of the biggest and oldest 2D animation companies in the world. We've just celebrated our 25th anniversary with our first client going back to being Disney, which is a great client to start off with. We have developed two pieces of industry standard technology. One that, like two hands, one and the other, when you clap them together, make a sound. Well, the same thing with our animation software, Storyboard Pro, which is our pre-production software, and Harmony, which is our animation software. And both those technologies can be used by schools, studios, enthusiasts. If you love animation, these are the two pieces of technology you need to get work done. During the course of our 25 years, we've worked with Disney, Amazon, Fox, Nelvana, Ubisoft, Toei Animation, Spa Studios, which you're going to see a couple of samples of, Zealand, Boulder Media, just to name a few. We have our technology in multiple languages, including Chinese, Japanese, and Spanish. And it's a great way to reach a lot of people. So you can develop an idea in your own backyard, and next thing you know, it can be viewed by millions and millions and millions of people around the world. It is a great industry to be in. So let's go back to where we are and where we came from. So as I said, we've just celebrated our 25th anniversary, starting back in 1994. 2 years after we started, biggest client is Disney, and can be seen with Beauty and the Beast, which is a great, everyone I think that is an international favorite. From there, we went on to work with The Simpsons, then to SpongeBob. Then we went to get our first Emmy for Harmony, which is the animation software, which we're going to just have a glimpse of. 2007, we launched Storyboard Pro, which is the essential tool for any type of project, production, live action, video game in the world. Then we were purchased and acquired by a major broadcaster here called Chorus Entertainment. And then guess what? Storyboard Pro wins an Emmy. So we have 2 Emmys. And then from there, we've opened our first office in Japan. And then we have recently opened 3 offices in China. Now that's going to pertain to you guys, but this is animation and video games is a very international business, and it's really fun to see what's going on around the world, because many of those shows come here. Our clients, so apart from education, so high schools, universities, public and private training centers, we also deal with studios of all types, whether it's an independent two-man shop to someone that has 300 animators and specialists, with the biggest, I think, for us here in North America is Disney. And then the freelance artists. And the freelance artists are the backbone of this industry. You could be anywhere throughout the US, and you could be connected to one of the big studios in Los Angeles, or any studio around the world, right out of your own home. It is the future of a lot of animated products. And as I indicated, we're working with some of the biggest studios out there. Universal, Fox, a great one with Fox is, if you're watching The Simpsons, Family Guy, American Dad, those are shows that were all made with our technology, both in the storyboarding, pre-production software, and with the animation software within Harmony. Spa Studios, if you watch Klaus, which you're going to see a clip of in a little bit, that was done in Harmony and another bit of software in Storyboard Pro. Bento Box, which is Bob's Burgers. NBC, Nelvana, Lucasfilm. So yes, we do with Star Wars. OLM, which is Pokemon. And Folimage, which has tons of productions, much of it that's done here in North America. And I think I have a show reel here to quickly give you a little run on. And this will show you all the different styles and possibilities that are done with both Storyboard Pro and Harmony. This is a great show. My Little Pony, Friends Are Forever. That was a true hybrid show, combination of 2D and 3D. And some of these are done by students. So just to give you an idea, like this one, Danny Bowman, great story behind her. She is a child with autism, And she has her own little studio that she started. I think she's based out of Los Angeles now. Fantastic story behind it. And let's move on. That. So as described, we are a company that is setting the standard in 2D animation. Our software is designed with the input of the industry itself. Over 25 years, there are tools and features that we've been asked to develop for productions for Disney, Fox, Cartoon Network, feature films. We've even rewritten our software to meet certain markets. The anime market in Japan is very different, and they came to us because we were opening up an office there saying, if you want to develop this country, you need to restructure your software to meet the pipelines that are being used over here, which we did. So we take the comments that the studios offer, and we really do our best to give them the tools that they need to successfully do their productions. The key part is the feedback. Toon Boom solicits feedback all the time from the teachers, students, users, studios, which really helps us make our products a little more relevant than the other production tools that are on the market. And we're the only one that is actually used for production. There are other softwares on the market like Flash and TV Paint, but those are not used in productions today, or fewer of them. Toon Boom is now in 80 major countries around the world using our technology on all their productions. We got 80% of the market, and we've earned that over time, and it's through that input. We offer products which has a functionality. So if you are developing an idea with your kids and they have a project and they need to do a storyboard, well, they can take everything that they're working in the Storyboard Pro, export it out, import it into Harmony, open it up, and they can continue working on their projects. And what's nice about this, and I'll go further into that in a second, what's nice about using this technology in your classroom, it really makes it a cross-discipline. They have to learn how to write. They have to learn how to speak. They have to learn how to do music. If you have a high school program that is part of an art school, well, definitely integrating an animation project with the other departments within the school only makes more fun for all the kids to do. Our vision is simple. We want that every frame of animation produced globally to be done in Toon Boom technology. And we're really doing that. Whether you watch the Avengers, Thor, Star Trek, Star Wars, they use Storyboard Pro to create their productions. It gives them a real great perspective on what is being done. And then our mission is to build software solutions that provide powerful storyboarding animation capabilities, as well as streamline the production process for artists, students in school. And that streamlining is really important. As I said, animation is a very changing industry. Thanks to a lot of the streaming productions that are going on now, the studios have less time to do the traditional classic style of animation. They have smaller windows. So The Simpsons, which takes for one 22-minute episode, takes about 14 weeks to go from storyboard to delivery, doesn't have the same thing when you're working on a production for Amazon or Netflix, which for the same 22-minute episode has only 4 weeks to deliver. So the technology is a very important aspect to help speed up that timeline to help the studios deliver. As I indicated, we're based in Montreal, and we have offices in Japan and China, and we're going to have more growth in the coming years. So, as indicated, Storyboard Pro. Now, Storyboard Pro was our second Emmy win. And the reason for that is that the studios needed a way to do things that weren't static. They want to be able to draw their boards in a software where they can time it, they can have cameras, they have a 3D space within the software, because Harmony and Storyboard is 2D within 3D space. That means if I take an FBX or 3D object, drag and drop it into the software, it will act like it was a 3D software. You can import your soundtracks, you have rulers and guidelines, and the most important part, you can run the animatic. And running the animatic is a key, because you need to get a feel of the episode. Is this worth, producing? Should we change the story? Should we make it more creative? So this product with Storyboard Pro is something that is an essential tool for the animation industry, the video game industry, the movie industry, the television industry. Plus it has offshoots within engineering, medical, military, any job that has to have a storyboard going on, Storyboard Pro fits that need. And then it leads us to the animation software, Harmony. Now, Harmony as indicated before, was our first Emmy win. And the best thing about Harmony is its flexibility. So you could be teaching kids frame-by-frame animation, which you would use Harmony on, puppet animation, which you can use Harmony on. You can do 2D, 3D integrated animation, where you're dropping in your FBXs and OBJs into the software and still layering it with your 2D on top of it. That could be done. On top of having a school project that the kids have to act, and then you want to rotoscope it. Can be done in the same software. You can also do the compositing and the effects within the same bit of software. The need for multiple softwares now isn't there. You need two real pieces of technology, Storyboard Pro and Harmony. I don't want to make it sound like a commercial. It's not the case. I'm giving you the information of what's being used in the industry. If some of your schools have the CTE program, this is the tool you need to connect with the studios in Los Angeles or throughout the US. What's nice about it, there's a high school in California that has a really amazing animation program. It's a 3-year CTE, and at the end, many of their students have graduated, and they're getting a job right away at Pixar, which is quite fantastic. And we need more schools like that. And they focused on 2 pieces of technology, which was Storyboard Pro and Harmony, because they wanted to give the students the opportunity to graduate and get employment right away. It's one thing to use a lot of other tools, and you can, like anybody, no one's telling you that you shouldn't use other tools. But if the goal is to have kids graduate or move up into universities, be very creative, take their own ideas and turn them into shows, they really need the tools that will help them do that. And these 2 award-winning industry standard tools will do that. What are the careers? Well, it depends on the pipeline. So here, these are 2 standard pipelines that a studio has. Paperless animation, which you have a tablet or Cintiq, you're drawing directly on a computer, so hence the word paperless. And the reason I'm saying it like this is I do not know what you attendees know and don't know about animation. And then you have a process that you go to, the pipeline in relation to the animation. So paperless, you're drawing frame by frame on a screen. You have your storyboards, you're developing your characters, your props, you're doing your recording, you're creating an animatic, layout and posing. And then you get to the most common jobs, which is the animation cleanup, ink and paint, compositing, and export render. Shows like this include, if you were watching Bugs Bunny, if you're watching the classic Mickey Mouses, The Simpsons, Family Guy, these use the paperless pipeline. For cutout, cutout is more puppet related. So like 3D, and I don't know how many of you do 3D, show of hands, you have to rig the character. Well, there's a lot of shows, as indicated before, that are playing on air right now where the characters, even though they look paperless, are really cutout animation. And this is the growing market in North America. There are more and more shows, because of the time constraints that they have to deliver a project, that need to be done using cutout. One of the biggest positions for future jobs deal with storyboard. So if you have kids who really understand how to take an idea, explain the idea, sketch it out, these guys have a career to become future storyboard artists. There is a need for it because the industry is green lighting and approving so many projects right now. They don't have the amount of people to do the work. So storyboard artist is a really high in demand job right now. In cutout animation, a rigger would be the equivalent of a jet fighter in the Air Force or a surgeon in medical field. The rigger is the guy who's doing all the heavy lifting. He's designing parts and pieces and frames for the characters so they can, hold on, station identification. I gotta take a sip of water. So these guys are in high demand, not just in the US where there's tons of studios who are looking for these guys. But one day, if they ever want to expand and become journeymen, they can get jobs all around the world, which is a great job to have because you're paid a lot more the moment you go offshore. Then you have your compositing. So the guys who understand how to put in the effects and the compositing, these guys make a lot of money right now. And again, high in demand. So this is something for your guys to look into in the future. And there's a lot of universities that are doing the same thing. Whoops. So I'm going to give you play some clips of shows and some techniques. Again, not knowing my audience right now. That will show you what a storyboard looks like. This was done in Storyboard Pro. This was done by our team. I'll do a short segment of it. But you should get the gist of an idea of what the storyboard does.
Here, boy. Enjoy your meal. The beach. Yes. This is unacceptable.
So basically you see all the camera action, you get direction of what's going on, you get a feel of the scenes that are being shot, you get an indication of, is this something that I want to go through? And I just want you to notice all the lines for these buildings, how straight they are. And those are using some of the guide tools that are within the software. But you have all the direction you need for, and that's actually our office. They did a great job. So let's move forward. I'll show you what happens, but that's the best part. Now, I don't know, show of hands, how many people have seen Klaus? This is a truly brilliant piece of animation. This is something that is on Netflix right now. It's nominated for Academy Award.
Just for your hands. Postman.
And if you have a nice screen, you should be able to see
You were meant for making toys.
what the future of animation looks like.
If you donate your old
And this
toys,
is it.
I'll deliver them for
And the
free.
reason for that is 3D is very expensive. For any studio to get involved in a 3D production, has a super high budget and doesn't necessarily mean it's going to look good. What we've done here with Spa Studios, and this is the same guys that do Minions and Despicable Me, they did the animation frame by frame. And then they have a proprietary, Spa has developed a proprietary software
What about me?
that will help layer many of the 3D effects on there just to give it that 3D feel. And it is, on my TV at Christmas time, it looked awesome.
You two can't change that.
I really hope it wins an Academy Award.
The Toastman
And then,
Maker are brainwashing everyone.
let's go there.
We need to show people that a true
Bear
self-love
with me. There we go. Those of you who love Mickey Mouse, and I'll show you something in the beginning. So you notice here in this corner, you'll see Harmonic Mercury Vision. This is one of the only projects that Disney lets Toon Boom have its name in there. Harmonic is a play on words for harmony, and Mercury Vision, Mercury is the actual studio that does this animation. And when you look at it, it has that clap. You go to Rick and Morty. Now this one is near and dear to my heart. When I first started with Toon Boom 8 years ago, I got a call from a guy and he goes, "Hey, we're a small studio, we're just starting up, we got a project we want to work on and develop. Will Storyboard Pro and Harmony do it?" And I'm like, "Yes, absolutely do this," because they had a small budget. So they bought 2 of each and they worked on this on a show. And then about 6 months to 7 months later, I got a call back and he goes, "Hey, Bernard, it's John." And I go, "Great, how you doing?" He goes, "We need to have more licenses now." And I go, "Why?" They go, "Well, because our show is being picked up." And I go, "Fantastic. What's the name of the show?" "Rick and Morty." And to this day, this is still a show that's near and dear.
Writing's
And,
not that easy.
Sorry,
Grammarly can help. This
Grammarly
sentence
likes to
is
bogart
grammatically
my,
correct.
presentations. Now again, right. Now for those of you who are very interested in video games and having the students develop their own video games, well, making a AAA game, as awesome as it is, and here in Montreal, we're blocks away from Ubisoft that does the Assassin's Creed series, and they use Storyboard Pro, just as a heads up. This is something that can be developed over time, and it's all 2D characters. They use a proprietary engine. They could have used Unity or Unreal, but they wrote their own gaming engine. Disney does the same thing. So it's great. What's nice about using Harmony in gaming, it's really light. You don't need to have use Photoshop or anything with bitmaps on it. And Harmony does have vector bitmap brushes. That's right, vector bitmap brushes, which shouldn't be possible, but we've made it possible. And yes, that was a blatant plug. Here's Tangled. Tangled is, I would say, is the bar. This, next to Klaus, is what the majority of the studios are trying to do. Learning the technology where the students can do this is not realistic. What is realistic is teaching them how to do rigging. Because this particular series, and you'll notice, look at the hair,
I'm trusting you to snap
watch the hair.
once your father is free.
You can trust me, Rapunzel.
Wither and decay. end this destiny, break these earthly chains, and set the
It's like spaghetti noodles.
It's working.
It is a very complicated show to do. However, the rigging behind it, all these characters are full 360 turns. So they're almost 3D characters within a 2D space. So 10-sided, full rigs. To learn this is very possible. But would it be taught
Not giving up.
of this complexity in a high school program?
Are you
Possibly not. But you can get them on the path to be able to do stuff like this. Let me go to another one, because I'm making sure we're on time, because I was technical. All right. Another video game that was done with Toon Boom called Battleborn, which is a fun play. And this one is a great example of a hybrid show. So a hybrid show is whether it's 2D and 3D combined,
Hugh.
or live action with 2D or 3D elements in there.
Get off
This
my
particular show, which is on TBS,
The war for your universe has begun.
whoops,
Come for you to
on TBS,
otherwise,
combines hand-drawn
past,
animation,
present, or future
puppet animation,
will survive.
3D, and it is
No, I'm good.
absolutely
Our journey
fantastic.
leads
The
to
look,
final
The
space.
feel, they did everything in Storyboard Pro with
My
this,
first high five.
and they made sure that those storyboards were incredibly detailed. Because like Rick and Morty, the story in this series is very, very complicated, very complex. And as you can tell here, it is multiple amount of styles. Right. So let's move on. Big Hero 6 is another Disney show. Rise of the Mutant Ninja Turtles, which is fantastic. Moana, I'll play Moana. Only because I'm a fan of The Rock. No, that's not why.
So what I
For those of you that have a 3D series,
is thank
Maui
Thank you.
is an
You're welcome.
incredibly
No,
difficult
I
character to do. Pixar did such a beautiful job on the 3D on this, but they couldn't animate in 3D his tattoos.
Greatness and it's strange. You don't even know how you feel.
So what they did in this particular movie is they used Harmony to create a skin for Maui to layer over Maui so they could do the 2D animation in there. And for the real fans of Disney, if you take a look at the art on Maui, it's very similar to the art in Hercules. Just a trigger question. Who knew rockets? All right, Hilda, which is another great one, but I want to make sure I have time for questions. So why animation? Well, right now in the industry, everyone's seen they've read in the newspapers or the business reports, there is a change happening. Traditional television is slowly not disappearing, but having to restructure itself as Netflix, Amazon, Disney Plus, and the other streaming services are coming into the market. They are in a phase of growth, which means there's a demand out there for any type of really cool IP to be done. If your students in school has a creative program, you really want to know about it, because there are opportunities out there for guys with great ideas who can put together a wonderful pitch, could end up going and pitching to Netflix. Netflix has 7 guys who are traveling the world all the time looking for content. And just because you're based in Los Angeles or New York City doesn't mean the story, the ideas that your students have cannot be international. So it's a really great opportunity for kids to start developing their ideas and work their creativity to develop their own projects and their own ideas. If they can build a pitch, we'd be more than happy to show it or introduce it to one of those companies to take a look at. Jobs in demand, as indicated, these here are the top 4 positions that are in need. And this is going to be in need for the next easily 10 years because the growing demand, not just domestically, but internationally. And I'll tell you, there are guys from all around the world that come to the United States to get their storyboards done, to get their stories done. And it's a great opportunity for jobs here in North America. Riggers are in high demand. Again, same situation. Whether you're doing Pokemon in Tokyo or you're doing Roger, I couldn't think of another one. I went blank. They need riggers. So riggers is a great way. Cleanup artists, very, very important. You cannot do a show like Klaus or Rick and Morty without cleanup artists, which is very precise job. And where are the jobs? All over the world. If you're a freelancer, you could be based in Lansing, Michigan, and you could be doing work for any studio around the world. Having the tool in Harmony and Storyboard Pro lets that artist be able to connect. Now, when your students graduate and they move on to a university, we can help connect you to a university that has a great program. If you have a school that is teaching CTE at a very high level, where your students, like the guy in California, is ready to go into Pixar, we can connect you directly to a studio in Los Angeles. Expectation. Now, this is very important. You're going to have your students build a portfolio because their point is to get a job, right? They want to graduate and move on, but it's still to get a job within the industry. Even for an internship, you have to make sure that what they have in their digital portfolio is only their absolute best work. If it's 10 seconds of animation, if it's 3 seconds of animation, but my God, look at that work. That's perfect for the portfolio. If there's stuff that here's a line drawing or here's a line test, or don't put it in because the studios will only look at it once. And if they don't like it, they will not waste the time. And if you have a really good program and we can connect you, and we're doing this with a high school in Los Angeles right now, we're going to connect them to a studio in LA because their program is fantastic. The universities are clamoring to get their graduates, high school graduates, to get into their programs. And some of them are offering a free ride because these kids have great talent. The more the students understand the production pipeline, the more the value they are to the studio is by far everything. Being a generalist, and in high school, you're very much a generalist, but they can get hired or do internships. But specialization, like any job, is where the fun really is. And understanding the tools. I know in high school is very difficult because you have a lot of other programs, but focusing on the tools, and we have a Learn portal that can help them, called learn.toonboom.com. So it's also for you guys to take a look at. And 3 key pieces of advice. This is essential for anyone who's in the animation program. The goal of becoming an animator and a creator is you are, and I hate to say it's like making a Big Mac. You have to create the same character over and over and over again. So the key is to follow the model. So if you're doing Stewie from Family Guy, or you're doing Homer Simpson or Bugs Bunny, following the model is key. The students have to understand they have to be open to the criticism, because if they want to improve and work their way up into a studio or do some really interesting stuff, they have to be ready to take the criticism that's being offered to them by their animation lead, by the director, whatever the case may be. And then the last part is to have fun. They're creating animation. They can sit down every day turn on the TV and watch a show like for me, Rick and Morty or The Simpsons, and go, geez, I have a part in that story. That's nice. You don't have many industries where you can actually do that. Now, there's some great references here. I would invite you to go visit toonboom.com. We have a Learn portal called learn.toonboom.com. And then we have a community. We have a beautiful Discord group. Please be on it. And one of the things to look at, and you'll notice this on learn.toonboom.com, on toonboom.com, not learn, called Animation from Every Angle. It is our digital magazine called Animation from Every Angle. And right now there's a beautiful article on another movie that's been nominated for an Academy Award called Hair Love. And it is a beautiful storytelling. I showed it to my wife. She actually cried. It was beautiful, and it's a wonderful story. I don't want to give it away, but it's a 8-minute or 15-minute little short. You need to watch it. And what's on the in the digital magazine talks about the studio's experience making that short. And there's also articles from other schools, and we're going to be updating that magazine every 6 to 8 weeks. So, any questions?
Hi, Bernard. We just have a few questions. The first one is, how do you connect the schools with studios?
That's a wonderful question, Christy. Ideally, it is for the school to connect with me. I learn about their projects, their course that they're offering, the goal of what the students are expected to achieve. And if it's awesome work, then I connect them directly to my colleague who takes care of all the North American studios, Bradley, and he will introduce to the studios. It's as simple as that. But the program does have to be awesome.
Okay. And then the last one, how do schools get started with Toon Boom?
That is a wonderful question. Ideally, a conversation, either a conversation with Janet or Jennifer, or with you guys over at Studica, a conversation with me or any of my team over here at Toon Boom, an idea of what the goal of the course load that is going to be into the classroom is going to be, and we can help guide. And again, going to learn.toonboom.com is a great way to start up, because it does have an educational journey. It does have lesson modules in there. It has tools that can be used. It has models that can be used. It is a fantastic place to start. And we'd be more than happy to talk to these schools individually or with either Janet or Jen and help them on that path.
Okay, and another one just popped up. Will Toon Boom have recognized certifications for the state of Texas certifications, and its current certifications are not recognized through TEA?
They are coming. I know we've been working very closely with Studica to make that happen. And to my understanding, they should be there by the start of the new scholastic year. We'll have more information on that in the coming weeks. We're also part of the CAPE funding list. You can use the Perkins grant on the software, training, whatever you need. What else? There's a lot of other grants that are out there that we do fall into.
Okay.
And if you're in the state of California, there is a new, law that came out, for lack of a better word, that deals with internships for the entertainment industry, which again, Toon Boom falls into.
Okay, and that looks like the end of the questions. I just wanted to remind everyone that I will be sending a follow-up email that will include a recording of the webinar. So if you do have any further questions, you can respond to that as well. And just thank you for joining us, and thank you, Bernard.
Thank you very much. I appreciate everyone's time. I do apologize for the technical difficulty, but what can you do in a technical world?